Welcome to our podcast. Let's see what happens. And this podcast features two women with ADHD, and we talk about our life choices, maybe shed some light on life with ADHD, perhaps inspire. Probably not, though. Okay. What would you say you do here?
Bitchin'. Here we are, being recorded. Hi, Natalie.
Hello. Oh, man. I love you so much.
I love you so much. Natalie, I couldn't have missed you anymore on this recent ski trip. Basically, the whole time, I had to keep being like, don't talk about Natalie again. Don't talk about how you wish Natalie was here again. Stop telling people how they've got to meet Natalie.
I do the same thing. People who I love, I cannot stop talking about them. I really can't. Yeah.
I kept telling everyone, oh my God, if Natalie were here, you would love her. Meanwhile, Natalie's husband was there. No, this guy's great too.
Oh my God.
Sure. But like, his wife's a real dream. So hi, listeners. My name's Lauren, otherwise known as Deely. And I really like to brag about my friend Natalie. That's how I'm going to introduce myself today.
I support that introduction. I'm Natalie, and I love to talk about my friends who light me up. I fucking love it. It's great. And I do the same thing. I will talk about my friends to random people, whether they want to hear it or not. I do not care. It is not for them.
We've got a real winning combo of things that we should talk about today. We're doing great. We're doing great. So I had a really interesting experience the other day where I was managing a very unique situation with like multiple different people. And obviously as an ADHD person who can track 900 conversations all at once, this was a lot. And so I told Natalie, and Natalie said, interesting. I have had similar situations where I've had just unique interactions with people who are not ADHD. And so I think today we should talk about those stories, Natalie.
Yes, I concur. You go first because I am beyond excited for your story. And I got a little tidbit last night and I was literally crying laughing for many, many minutes. It is so funny. So you go first and then I'll tell mine.
So to give our listener or listeners, if you've multiplied somehow, a little bit of context. So I have a partner. His name is Eric. He has a mom. She is old, and we have moved her into an assisted living facility that is nearby to our home in Colorado. I also have parents. I didn't just spring fully formed from the earth, and my parents also live in Colorado.
You might have, honestly.
You know, I really feel like I did. And this
I
whole
think you did.
It's just a fucking lie. They have created photos of a kid that kind of looks like me, but isn't me. I don't know.
It's not.
I sprang fully formed from the earth, but these people masquerading as my parents still exist. They live near us in Colorado. And my mom just had neck surgery. And so she is walking around. She's nailing the recovery, very type A, just annihilating it. But she still has to wear this big, hard neck brace. So to paint the picture, we decide that we're going to get all the parents together to like basically kill all of the like, that's a bad metaphor because you'll see why, but to basically tackle all the parents who want to see us at once to maximize for time. So we decide we're going to have lunch with my dad and my mom and Eric's mom, and we all convene on a place. And Eric was like, well, where should we go for lunch? My mom can't eat anything spicy. And I was like, oh, we're going to go to First Watch. The old people love it. And he burst out laughing. He was like, what? And looked at me like I was crazy. We walk in, sure enough, only old people, all old people. And then me and Eric. And I was like, bitch, I told you. Yeah. And all the old people loved it. So we go out to lunch. My dad is grumpy and bitchy and so awful. He's just had cataract surgery. So I have to sequester him over to the side because he's just being a dick. My mom is in the middle. She also has hearing aids, can't hear anything, shouting, neck brace. Over on the side, we've got Eric's mom, also deaf, can't hear anything, also doesn't really know what's going on and has difficulty tracking the conversation. And then we've got Eric and myself sitting around this table.
I can't. So, it's just so. Yeah. Wait, why was your dad being a dick? Just because?
Just baseline. That is,
okay.
Yeah.
That's just what's happening.
That's his baseline. It's just what's happening. He's in a bitchy mood, and that's how he's going to just come at the world. Most people, I don't know, have some amount of people pleasing or like, I'm going to put on a happy face for this social interaction that we're having, but nope, not my dad. My dad is a white guy who was a bond trader in the 80s with a big mustache, and we should all have a little bit of my dad's energy, right? Just showing up in the world being like, today I feel like a dick, so that's what I'm going to do. Yep, take it or leave it. You're going to take it because I'm sitting here. Great.
It's pretty much how we roll, but at least we're not dicks. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so dad's a dick.
So dad's a dick.
Yeah.
We're at lunch. I'm trying to manage this conversation with my dad to basically just like direct all of his shitty attitude to me so he doesn't poison the rest of the nice lunch that we're trying to have. But because I have fucking ADHD, I can hear all three of the conversations that are happening. And you might wonder, Natalie, or dear listener, you mentioned, Lauren, that there's only 3 other people at this lunch. How are there 3 conversations happening? Well, it's because 2 of the people who are talking can't hear shit. And so Eric is trying to have a conversation with 2 people that do not hear him and cannot understand. And so then, like, they're just having their own world conversation. Every now and then, Eric's mom jumps in with a comment that's totally non sequitur or was about the conversation 15 minutes ago. My mom's yapping away about things and she's trying to make nice. Eric's just sitting next to me like, the fuck do I do here? And I'm like, Dad, focus here. Don't look at anyone else. Those are nice people. Focus here. So we finally finish lunch and we decide, my dad, we're going to send him home. And then my mom, myself, Eric, and his mom are going to go back to her assisted living facility. And we're going to play some mahjong. So we do this. We execute it. It's great. Everything takes 10 times longer than it should. This is a nightmare for people like you and me, Natalie, who
God,
quickly...
it gives me anxiety. Just 3 conversations at once. I dig that. Playing mahjong with old people, I'm like, I don't know.
And like, how many ways can you try to politely be like, hey, it's your turn. Hey, yep, focus. It's your turn.
And you're like, I can't focus. I need you to focus so that I can just see me and not focus.
Yeah. And I'm still winning. And no, what's crazy, Eric's mom cannot track a single thing, but she will shark you at mahjong. Just like, I have no idea how.
Oh my gosh.
So we play a couple rounds of mahjong and we're like, okay, everybody's dealt. It's time for us to go. And so then we go through the whole leaving process, which takes 10,000 hours. So we finally get everything packed up. Eric's mom is like, oh, but what about this question that I have that I could have asked at any time during the 7 hours that we were together, but now I'm going to use it as a tool to keep you here. And we're like, yep, nope, we're going to deal with all that stuff later. So we're walking out. And now, remember, we are in an assisted living facility. This is a place where people go when they can't care for themselves and maybe they have memory issues. And so these places are designed to keep people safe. And a big part of keeping people safe is making sure they stay inside and that they don't go wandering out because there's a major road and there's people with memory care issues. And so like for safety, all the doors are locked and all the doors will alarm if you try to exit. And there's big giant signs on every door. And every door says, door will alarm, hold to exit in emergency, alarm will sound. So it's very clear that if we try to leave through any of these doors, big alarms will sound. So we're walking
and
out.
This is why our generation will never be in an assisted living because we're like,
no,
what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no.
We would be there and just sounding the alarms.
Yeah, I'd be
So
like,
they're
fuck
like-
this shit.
Like, watch how many times I can break free, bitch.
Yeah. I'm gonna vault over that fence. Fucking watch me. So we're walking out and there's one door in, one door out, right? It's this main atrium. And this makes sense, right? To keep the people safe, there's a receptionist there. They can see everything. If somebody goes to leave, there's a dinging door that opens.
It's like jail.
Yes.
Old people
it
jail.
Is old people jail. Exactly.
Yes.
You are exactly correct. So I'm in old people jail and I'm walking down the hall to exit and my mom in the neck brace who can't hear is shouting and we're laughing. And all of a sudden, Eric turns around. He's like, shut up. And we were like, why? Natalie, in the middle of the atrium, in front of the only exit, is a fucking dead body covered by a sheet and people singing Amazing Grace because that person's dead and they're having a little memorial.
I have a question. That person's like, did they just die in the doorway? And then
they did not die in the doorway. Okay. To the best of my knowledge, they did not die in the doorway.
They're trying to free themselves. Because if I was in an assisted living, at least I would be like, I was trying to leave and be free, and I died doing that. Pursuing my freedom.
What I love. Pursuing my freedom.
It would have been better if they made it out of the door, but like, still, they're on their way. Okay, so they didn't die trying to be free. They died, but then I don't understand why the service would be in front of the only exit.
Yeah, thanks,
why
Natalie.
was that the
Me
choice?
neither. I have no idea. I have no idea why the service would be in the exit, the only exit, because there's many, many rooms. I don't know, maybe because bingo was happening literally upstairs in the other big room. And so this was the biggest place. So in the atrium, there's a fucking dead body and there's people crowded around and they're singing Amazing Grace. My mom, Eric, and I turn 180, run the opposite direction, hide in a little side hallway, and start dying laughing. Like the kind of laughing where you're like trying to hold it in, but you can't hold it in. And so I'm crying and I'm trying to silent laugh. And I turn around and Eric's there and I look out the hallway and his mom is like a moth to the flame, just shuffling up towards this service as my mom and I and Eric are like, we gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of here. So my mom goes sprinting going down one hallway to try to find an exit. I go down one hallway. Eric's like, you guys, you can't get out. We're stuck here. We are trapped by the dead body in the assisted living because the whole place is designed to keep you in. And so we're standing in the hallway. Yeah. I'm looking at my mom. I'm like, this goes much longer. I'm going to press that door and we're going to sound the alarm and we're just going to vault over the fence. We're just going to do it. We're going to get you and your broken neck over that fence. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Wasn't your mom yelling something too?
So here's the best part. As if the dead body wasn't the best part. They finally finish singing Amazing Grace. The three of us peek our little heads out from around the corner to check and see if it's done. It's done. We go to leave. We're saying our goodbyes to his mom. And now we're in the middle of this giant atrium that echoes because it's a fucking atrium. And that's what an atrium does. And my mom is loudly saying, well, see, I mean, that's why you gotta keep moving. I mean, I don't ever want to end up in a place like this. Dear God, never. And she's loudly shouting about how she could never possibly end up in a place like this. Well, there's about a dozen people who live there in a place like this. I was like, okay, we gotta go. Bye.
Nothing to see here. It is literally like an episode out of Schitt's Creek. That's what I think of. Yeah. That is so funny. And
then we all just got in the car and Eric and my mom were just having normal conversation. And finally I was like, I'm sorry. Are we not going to talk about how we just got trapped by a dead body in the assisted living place? Are we just going about our days like that's normal? What is wrong?
Like, is it me or is it you? Then I feel like it's you because that was, I don't know, somewhat traumatizing. Not a metaphor at all for like life and death and where you don't want to end up.
Great.
That is a fantastic story. My Nana lived in an assisted living for a period of time. And my Nana was the life of the party. Always laughing, throwing parties, loved to drink, loved to dance, just could not get enough of life. And she moved to this assisted living right down the street for a period of time in my hometown. And so we'd go and visit her. And she would throw these cocktail parties, whatever day it was, at 4 p.m., invite all the old people over. And she consistently told me that she would do it because none of them could handle their liquor. She drank Manhattans and really strong alcoholic drinks, not like spritzers. She was like, oh, you want to fucking go? Let's go. So she literally serving the Manhattans. Like, they can't drink. They're all drunk. She called me Noodle. So she'd be like, Noodle, it's so funny. None of them can walk out of there. I was like, wait, I'm sorry. Do you invite old people over, get them drunk, and then laugh at them because they can't fucking walk because they're drunk and they already can't walk? And then your just additional alcohol makes it so that they cannot function. And she was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. When I think of my Nana, that is when I think of. I'm like, well, you know, if you're there in an assisted living, you should probably just get everybody drunk and then laugh at them. That was what I took away.
That is legend.
Yeah,
your Nana is legend.
No, she is a legend. Yeah. So funny.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is amazing. They'll have a happy hour every now and then, but it has like fucking juice. Yeah.
I think it was like almost a secret thing, to like a speakeasy.
Yeah, to be
you know, because
speakeasy
like
club.
We're not really allowed to really drink because for that reason, I think everyone just dies and falls over.
Yeah.
And they could die. If they haven't died already, they will be dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love this. I think if we ever end up in assisted living, first of all, we're
together.
neighbors.
Yeah.
Second of all, we're there together. And third of all,
neighbors, we're going to be living fucking together. Are you serious?
Yeah,
I mean, literally, if we're neighbors, I am carving a hole with my butter knife and we will find a way to be together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It would start as a telephone hole where we're like, here, instead of using our phones, I'd be like, let's connect these cans. Better yet, let's cut it bigger so we can just fit it. And I'd be like, great idea.
God, can you even imagine how much havoc we would wreak in an assisted living place?
Oh my God.
It kind of sounds fun. We should like pretend to be really infirm and then get there and just fucking raise hell.
Just constantly opening those doors and holding them open.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I can't read anymore. I don't know what that means.
I'm sorry, was it alarmy? Alarmies? Alarms?
Alarm. I thought it was alarm. I didn't know what that meant. Sorry.
Just sprint away as fast as you can. Yeah, so that was my Nana.
God, she sounds great. Let us all be your Nana. I hope we all get to be that cool.
God, I hope so too. Well, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm trying to do. I also have a story about having to play long games, like tracking multiple conversations. I got you. And I'm always starting multiple conversations. And I feel like whoever I'm talking to, they're like, can you just do one thread? And I'm like, well, which one? Because I've already answered 4 of them and then I have to kind of go back. But I will placate you. That's fine. But yeah. So anyways, I like that. It's a puzzle piece. I feel like a detective.
this really goes along with my brain. Playing long games and listening to directions, especially because I can't picture it now that I know that, I cannot do. I physically cannot do. So back in the day when I had just moved to Boulder and I was living there and I was looking for friends and I just met your partner, Eric, again, even though we were friends and went to New Zealand together. And the first time I met him, I was like, how do I know you? And he was like, we went to school together.
From somewhere.
Yeah. And he was like, we went to New Zealand together. And I was like, what? Are you sure you're not just from Vermont? He's like, no, Natalie, we went to college together. We were friends of friends. And then also we went to New Zealand together in a group of like 8 people. And of course, I argued to the death. I was like, there is no way we were in New Zealand together on the same class. And he pulled up a picture. It was like me and Eric in New Zealand. I was like, wow, I can't believe I have no memory of him being there. So anyways, that's how we met. So it started off really good. Our friendship, very solid. I'm sure he was very impressed. He was friends with Todd, who is my husband. So after we'd been friends maybe like a couple months, right? They invited me over to play games. And I was like, I love games. I will play games. I thought it was going to be like categories and Pictionary and the moving games, right? It was not. It was Settlers of Catan, which has a billion directions. Literally, the directions took 25 minutes. So I listened for the first 10 seconds. I was like, this is dumb. I don't understand why we need to collect straw or whatever the fuck it is. I was like, why are we just not building stuff? Why do I need all these resources? And like, why do I even need to trade? Can I just take them? So already they're like, you're not following the rules. And I'm like, I wasn't listening. I don't understand them. And also they're probably stupid anyway. So I completely sabotage this game.
Yes.
Completely sabotage it. Kind of on purpose. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You invited me and this game is dumb. And they were like, this
And
is
I'm going to be an
game.
agent of chaos.
Yes. And apparently they talked about it for weeks about how they could not believe, seriously, how I came in and I just destroyed their game. And I was like, but you invited me. So I don't know what you
And you've met me.
expected.
What did you think was going to happen?
Settlers of Catan? Like, come on. My God. I've never played. You have to read 25 minutes of directions. It's just, that is so on you. I cannot even. So I apparently had destroyed their night and they couldn't get over this. So then they're looking for another roommate to be in their ski condo for the winter. They literally went through an entire list of people, including people apparently that they didn't even like before they got to me. So they're going through a list of 40 people, like random people, people they barely met, people they do not really like, but they're like, they'll be fine.
Be better
Entire
than
list.
Natalie.
I didn't find this out till like months later. I was
That's
totally
amazing.
undeterred. It didn't even matter to me. They went through this whole list. And then finally they were like, asked me. And they're like, Nelly, do you want to be at our ski condo? And I was like, oh my God, 1,000 times yes, yes. And they were both just like, great, super. I was like, dibs on top, Vogue. And they were like, already, we immediately regret inviting you. Oh my God. So then I found out afterwards that they went through a list of people.
That's amazing.
And then finally they were like, we just need somebody. We should just ask Natalie. And I was like, yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
The,
that
look at the
happens.
length that neurotypical people will go through to avoid the magic of us.
Yes. And then that person, they married me. So if I had not been in that condo, would that have happened? Nobody knows.
This is amazing. So I heard a very different story. I never heard about the 40 different people. Eric was always just like, oh, Natalie was at our ski condo. Like it was normal. Like, oh yeah, of course we all had this ski condo together.
No,
Not
it was
like
not
Natalie
normal.
was choice 41 in our
No.
ski condo.
Natalie was our last choice by like a lot. We dreaded asking her. And my reaction to it is even more priceless that I was like, oh my God, 1,000 times yes, I'm so excited. We're like,
So when Eric and I started dating, literally like date number 2, I had him over to my house and I was cooking dinner and he was like, cool, I'll come over. I can come over later or I can come over earlier. But if I come over earlier, I have to have this phone call with some people about this hut trip up to British Columbia. I was like, that's fine. I'm cooking dinner. You can just hang out in the house, have your call. And when you're done, we'll have dinner and have a nice time. And so I'm cooking dinner and 100% eavesdropping on the phone call. And they're talking about going to Soul Mountain Lodge.
was I on the phone call? Probably not. Eric was
No,
probably
it was
like,
the
do you want to
first
talk logistics? And I was like,
I'm out.
no.
So all I tune into is the name of the lodge, which I'm obviously looking up in secret on my phone. Looks amazing. The snow looks incredible. And then I tune out. They're talking about driving and flying. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that must have not been me. They're like, Natalie, how are you getting here? I'm like, I don't know. How are you getting there? And they'd be like, no. You need to make this. I'm like, I
No,
can't do that right now.
Nope, I'm in your suitcase is how I'm getting there. So you figure it out. Then finally, they're talking about how much it costs and the deposit. And basically, all I hear is, yeah, if it doesn't work out, there's a $400 non-refundable deposit, and that's it. And I was like, I need to get myself invited on this trip. I need to get myself invited on this trip. We have been dating for all of 8 minutes, literally. This is date number 2. Date number 1 was a run, right? So like we've like spent 8 minutes together. It's just a call, and I'm just calmly cooking, like, today, chop, 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 saute, saute. And he turns around, he's like, oh, so did you like hear any of that? And I was like, oh, I mean, just I don't know, little. And he was
As
like,
you
"Is
twirl
that-"
your hair, you're like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't know. Not like I've already blocked off my calendar. And he was like, does that sound like the kind of trip you would like to go on? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I've got the $400 deposit right now. Like, basically just invited myself on this trip.
That's amazing. You should have.
Yeah, basically, this is the magic of ADHD. I did not know this person at all. The trip was 18 months away, very far in the future. There was no certainty at this point if we were going to work out or not. And I looked at him and I was like, look, here's the deal. If this thing between us doesn't work, I have a lot of friends and I'm 100% certain that I can find someone to take my place, or it's $400. I don't care. I'm going on the fucking trip. I'm booking the trip.
Yeah.
And if we don't work out, I'll deal with it then. And he was just like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, why?
It's skiing. Of
Yeah,
course I'm sure.
why?
Yes.
He's
Done.
like,
I'm already
I'm
unbooked. I was like, I don't need a fucking phone call with the logistics, the planning. No, yes, I'm
Yeah.
in. Good. Very
No,
good.
I'm good. I don't need anything from you, buddy. I'm going. I don't even
Yes.
care if you don't go, actually.
I don't even care. It's my trip now. My trip.
He's like, our ski trip. I'm like,
So-
you mean my ski trip?
Yeah, you mean my ski trip that weirdly your people are on. So weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I
man.
think there is
So-
a lot of ADHD magic and just taking that leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like
totally.
neurotypical people, they spend so much time thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
how much time did Eric and Todd spend contacting other people, emailing,
idea.
texting, whatever? I think they had some very proper meetings for some people, like, would you like to be in our ski condo? And they were probably like, fuck no, what are you doing? This is so creepy. And then finally they asked me, and I'm like, oh my God. Isn't that so crazy?
It's
Anyway,
crazy.
it is. It's fucking crazy, but it works.
Man, it does work.
Another
It does
takeaway
work.
is that if you do end up in assisted living, be like my Nana, get everybody
Yes.
drunk, and or break free. And it is your time to go. You should die trying.
Fall against that door, hold it for 30 seconds, make an alarm blare so that your last moment is a taste of freedom and the sound of an alarm chasing you. Yes.
Ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, that was
Natalie,
fun.
you've got to go to your gay dance party. And
I
I'm
do.
deeply jealous that I'm not going to be there.
That's actually what it is. Literally, they were like, send gay dance songs. And I was like, I need an example. They were like, songs that are happy. And I was like, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know,
Yeah.
songs that bring out the gayness, the happiness, the merriment. Yes.
I was like, I'm new at this, so I'm not really sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, enjoy. We'll chat soon. Thanks for yet another great and enlightening time, Natalie.
So enlightening. Yeah, man.
Hey, let's see what happens.
All right. Bye, buddy.
Bye.